r/AskReddit asks. Non-Americans, what do you think of Bernie Sanders? I don't really follow politics, but the Bernie campaigners on campus the other day seemed nice enough. On my Canadian campus. Is that not weird? I can only imagine that was a waste of time. I had a friend who goes to college in Canada right now, probably trying to reach people like her. Kinda bizarre though. As a Canadian, I think he is once again asking for my financial support. As a Brit, I think that he thinks cats should be able to have a little salami, as a treat. Bernie's main focus is on domestic US issues, which are hard to translate to the Australian political landscape because we just don't have any analogues here to a lot of the things that Bernie spends most of his time campaigning on. We have a healthy minimum wage and universal healthcare here, for instance. That said, his stances on most of these issues would align with the broad political establishment consensus here. So I'd call him a fairly mainstream centrist by Australian standards, leaning centre-left if only for his support of workers at the expense of the owner class. He'd be right at home in our Labour Party. It's completely insane to me that 99.9% of his time and energy is caught up in endlessly fighting for basic stuff that literally the whole rest of the world takes for granted, and in doing so he somehow seems to be regarded in the US as some kind of fringe left socialist radical. Insane. Russian here. He sounds neat and looks like a kind grandpa. Tomorrow's headline on Fox News: Internet reveals Bernie Sanders has Russian backing, or is Bernie a Russian agent? Anyone not aware, Fox is a conservative entertainment company that has shows about the news. They love the current president. I'm Canadian and my general feeling towards him is utter disbelief that the most progressive person in America is somehow a 90-year-old Jewish man from Mont. He's actually from Flatbush, Brooklyn. But his political career is VT. Aussie here. What a bloody legend, mate. Yeah, except true Australians don't really care. Fuck, we vote for a prime minister and 6 months later the party decides to kick him out anyway. Man shrugging. From an Australian perspective, Sanders advocates policies that I believe America really needs. Most of them are commonplace here, where even our right-wing, conservative parties defend those policies and institutions. This is it. I am European who is center/right oriented, but it is because even right-wingers here wouldn't dream of making health system or educational system a clusterfuck similar to the US. It's like they took a normal center-left politician and dropped him in the clusterfuck of American politics and somehow he is doing well? I love how he is center-left in a repo, but far-left in America. Irish person here. I'm really into politics, specifically American politics, and from an outsider looking in, all the politicians look and act like a subhuman breed of reptiles with no care of empathy towards the general public. I'm no socialist, but Bernie seems genuine and like an overall nice guy who actually cares about the citizens of the US, who are having quite a hard time from what I can tell. Dude, I wouldn't mention the reptile part, they'll come after you. Speaking as a Norwegian with no interest in American politics, the general image I have just from the cultural osmosis of being exposed to the internet is old activist man who wants the US to have what Scandinavian countries already have but who probably won't win. No idea if this is correct or not. Norway does not have a system similar to what Bernie is proposing. Not bashing either, just clarifying. Canadian here, he is an idealist, with practical experience. It seems like a combination that could work. His ideas don't seem so crazy to me, although I don't agree with all of them. I like that he doesn't seem like a threat to world peace, and that he seems like the kind of person who wouldn't act completely out of self-interest. Honestly, I wish that Canada more politicians like him. As a Canadian, I think having Bernie in office would be good for us. It would help push us left, instead of spending so much energy fending off whatever crazy Trump has going on. Compared to Trudeau, Bernie is more left, and it might help force Trudeau to live up to the left-leaning stuff he promised, instead of just sitting in the muddy middle. I think he is the one who feels passionately about change and helping people. If the change is good or not, but he is the only one I find real. I wish he was an Australian. We need to upend this bullshit place. Fuck SCOMO. The arrogant imbecile. All the videos of him trying to get photo ops with firefighters and the like only to be told to fuck off by literally everyone are satisfying in tragic circumstances. This was asked 4 years ago and he still looks like the only sane normal politician you have running for office. Edit Amsweed. Netherlands, sounds like a guy your country really needs. The ideas he is proposing work over here. New Zealander here, the stuff Sanders talks about is largely already in play here and is total common sense for the voter base. Any party trying to get in on a ticket of peer-to-peer healthcare, education and no gun control wouldn't get close to crossing the 5%. He'd be seen as a center-left politician here. The vast majority of what he speaks about is what both of the major parties, National and Labour, have as principal policies. Speaking as a Canadian, he's talking about a lot of stuff that you as a country should either be talking about or should have done years, or decades, ago: Medicare for all, reining in corporations, relieving debt, etc. I like him. I'd rather see him in office than Trump. But I'd rather see a half-boiled potato in office over Trump. I think he is a politician who genuinely intends to help the very people who have been brainwashed to fear him. All I know is that he is once again asking for my financial support. I know you jest, but I love it that he's depending on individual donations instead of corporate money to fund his campaign. It ensures he won't be the lapdog of corporate interests. If you want to see America become one of the good guys, go ahead and toss him a coin for us, please. I think his accent is hilarious, not in a bad way, just in a he sounds so stereotypically American NY Jewish it's hilarious kind of way. I guess it's like a those people actually exist outside of TV/movies thing. And that's about all I've got as far as an opinion of him. It took so long to actually have a politician that is not funded by corporate America. That's what I like about him. He's definitely the best Democratic candidate. And he is the only person out of the Democratic candidates that didn't vote for Trump's proposal for extra military spending. I think the American military is way too big. I always like how Republicans get riled up over the notion of free healthcare, but not over military spending. They're both socialist constructs. Be more like Ron Swanson: if you're going to hate, hate thoroughly.